Aloha, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great to see everybody here. I've been loving looking at the live chat and seeing a lot of folks that we actually just saw at our retreat in the chat. So, hi, you guys. Great to see all of our retreaters and past retreaters. So, thank you, folks. We've got kind of a fun, well, I feel like I say that about everything that we do. Like, we have a fun workshop, but I'm actually really excited about this one because we're going to talk a little bit more about syncopation and what that is, and the fact that most of you probably already do it and don't realize it. And a lot of times when people complain that they can't sing and play at the same time, it's typically because they're trying to do something that's too syncopated. And it's hard to sing and do syncopated rhythms at the same time. So it's going to be really great. And yes, those asking if I feel better, yes, I am feeling a lot better. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I ended up getting more sick than Sarah after the retreat.
It's true, but you also were like super, super stressed because I got sick during the retreat. So you probably just worked yourself too hard. So it makes you more susceptible. But yeah, poor Craig has been he hasn't been 100%. I think it was what you got hit 3 days after the retreat. I think you went down.
Yeah, part of it is all the adrenaline afterwards,
Yeah.
and yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And it doesn't help that, as soon as Craig came home, sweet little Cameron sneezed right in his face. So, and we all know about kids being little petri dishes. Bless them all.
Oh,
So,
that was a lot of
yes.
fun though.
Yes, thank you so much to Lori and Rob for being understanding. I was supposed to meet with you folks, and unfortunately, I don't think I actually got better until 4 days ago. Yeah, it was weirdly intense. I feel like I caught something else. Like, not because I had laryngitis during the retreat, unfortunately. And then like I was getting better, and then Cameron got super sick, and then I got what he had, and then Daddy got what he had. So, yep. Everybody in the chat is so sweet. Thank you guys, and thank you, Lori. I saw you in the chat. I figured, and oh my gosh, and I'm glad everybody seems to have made it home safe and sound from our retreat. It was a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of fun kind of working on Long Beach, because don't forget, we also have our Long Beach ukulele retreat. Some of you guys in the chat I know will be joining us there. I'm really excited about that one. It's very intimate, and we're going to be doing a lot of, there's going to be ear training stuff and lots of sort of, as Brian calls it, musical awareness. And
Yeah, a lot of just small group play.
yeah,
Which is gonna be great.
I'm very, very excited about that. And there is still some space. So please, if you are on the fence, please join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and again, we have tomorrow. We have our backyard concert featuring Algin
Yes.
Guerrero, which is gonna be absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be great. One of the things actually that I did want to mention, we it's funny that of course the ukulele brings us all together, but everyone has so many other passions and experience and other things. And one of the things that Sarah and I are really taking a deep dive into is creating a nonprofit.
Oh, gosh.
Um,
We've been researching that for a while.
We've been doing a ton because of some of the things that we're doing, especially some of the a lot of the cultural things that we want to start pushing and integrating into our ukulele events. That is something that we've been kind of doing a lot of research on. If anyone has any kind of
Oh,
tips or history with that they would love to share with us, please let
please
us
feel
know.
free to
Please reach
share.
out.
Yes.
I'll put our email on the bottom. But
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, I always forget that we have an incredible resource with you guys, and even if it's just little hints here and there to help
Yeah.
us, that would be fantastic.
Or if any of you are like, I could, if any of you can proofread a grant, that would be great. Later down the line. Yeah, but that's so last year, I started researching and working out different ideas for founding a nonprofit, just because a lot of the stuff that we do is free, and we want to be able to find ways of like connecting the dots and allowing people to be able to to give and not, and know where their money's going towards. I mean, we try to be as transparent as possible with our backyard concerts, for example, where we tell you exactly like, this is what we're doing, this is this. But with a nonprofit, you have to be even more transparent. And I know some people would just feel more comfortable with that. And so that's something else that I spent a long time. We almost pulled the trigger last year, and then we said, "Oh, no, let's wait. We got too many irons in the fire." And now we're looking at things, saying, "Probably should have done that. Let's look at it." So, yes, anybody who has any insight they would like to share with us, please email us at cheemaisel@gmail.com. I can hold it, ukulele. Excellent. So I love seeing everybody from all different parts of the world. It's really great to get a chance to see everybody. And so Craig is doing some technical things for us. So that's why you're seeing what you're seeing. But it's so great. I see that Angela is finally getting over her jet lag. She had joined us for our ukulele retreat all the way from the UK. And that is a long, long trip. So my goodness. Thank you so much, Craig. I love it. Now, what else is so? As Craig said, tomorrow 9 a.m. Hawaii time, we've got our backyard concert with Aldrin Guerrero and Aaron Nakamura. Very excited about that. It's an exciting and just really uplifting concert, and we enjoyed getting a chance to hang with them. We flew them over from Kauai to record it just before Aldrin's daughter was born. It was one of those where we're like, oh, gotta do this fast. And Craig, you have something.
Yeah, so we haven't had a chance to sit down because we've been catching up with work since we got back from the retreat, but super excited to receive this in the mail.
Yes.
Echo, congratulations on your album.
Yes.
Super excited to check it out. We've been waiting. Everything has been crazy, but this is awesome. Super excited. If you guys are recording out there, send us stuff. I would love to check it out, whether it's digital only or a physical CD. Send us stuff. We would love to check it out.
Can't hear Craig.
Oh, sorry. There we go. I muted it for earlier, but Teco, congratulations. This is amazing. We haven't had a chance to sit down and listen to it just yet because we've been sick and catching up with work, but super, super excited to check it out. And again, for those of you out there who are recording, please send us stuff. We would love to hear what you guys are doing. Again, I started out, creating like burned CDs when I first started just to kind of get music out there. And I remember my first CD that I pressed with the band was unveiled at the Milwaukee Ukulele Festival, actually. And it was so last minute that I had to get the first shipment sent there to the festival. So we had a big truck that dropped it off in the middle of that weekend, and it was just like this big, it was awesome. So again, if you guys are recording out there, send us stuff. We would love to hear and check it out.
We always get so excited and proud of our students because it's just like, I remember the very first time that, because Teco is a artist work student. And I remember the first time that we got to see his VEs and stuff and just to watch him grow as a musician. And now he's got an album out. It's really exciting for us. And we definitely have proud mama and papa moments for sure with it because we love it. We love that we're able to help with that journey. So congratulations, Teco. That's so cool. Oh, that's nice, Angie. So apparently Aldrin talked about how good it was to record with us and stuff on his last live. So yay. Yeah, we look forward to doing more with them now that we're closer, like just an island away, right? Because we love those guys. They're really sweet. And I feel like they remind me of my beginnings and keep me humble. And I appreciate that. And just sweet, sweet, sweet people.
Yeah, no, and we're getting to the point now where Cameron is getting a little bit better. We are thinking about, again, traveling, not quite as much as we used to, but again, kind of getting to go back to the UK and
we have an open invitation to go back to the UK. So all we have to do is pull the trigger. So we're discussing that. Cameron's starting preschool. That's the beautiful
Yeah.
thing. So then we'd be able to, I feel like we're going to get to do more once we have, 6-7 hours.
Well, one of the things too, we've been sitting on so many ideas too. I know
Yep.
for me, there's a new project. I'm gonna have these mini kind of lesson things
Oh,
coming out.
yeah.
That is gonna be a lot of fun. That ties in a lot of the most frequently asked questions, I
That's
think.
right. And that's something that we meant to do last year. Again, there's a lot of irons in the fire in this
We
house.
also, again, going back to the kind of cultural side of things, we also want to do some mini docs on some of the living legends.
I don't think they can see you, Craig.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Okay, just making sure.
But because of having the time and the capabilities, we want to start capturing some of these moments.
Oh my gosh, Betsy Manning, stop. He will not be driving soon. Sorry, Craig.
But it's going to be great. So we have a lot of ideas that we want to start doing, and having Cameron go to school soon is going to allow us to do that. So I've been kind of excited to have that time to do more work.
Though I'm sure that when I drop him off, I'll cry. I'm sure, because it's funny. He had to have like it's not an interview, but he had to go there first to check it out, and also to make sure he fit with the school and stuff. And so he didn't even look back. He just didn't even say bye. He took the teacher's hand and was gone. I was like, well then, guess he's ready. So, and he keeps saying, Cameron, go to school today? Cameron, go to school today? I'm like, not yet, buddy, but soon.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, one of the for Artist Works, I have a game plan of a new series that we've been doing. If you checked in recently, and as we're gonna start really thinking about how to hear the different chord qualities, so that we can pretty much the end goal for the mini series for that one is to be able to jump into a group and just start playing. You don't have to ask what key, you don't have to ask what progression, you don't have to ask anything. You can just figure it out on your own. Figure out what key first of all, and then having the family of chords in your head for that given key, and then being able to at first process of elimination in your chord choices that you choose, and then just being able to hear those jumps. So that is the end goal with the new mini series that we're doing for Artist Works as well. So excited.
Yeah, and then I still need to finish up the practical music theory for ukulele, where I still need to cover minor keys, and some extra minor scalage in there. Plus, I'll be working out. I actually have most of the PDFs sorted. That's sort of the big thing, is making sure that I have the PDFs ready, and then I can record, because I use those as worksheets when I'm teaching. And the how to read music, including what's a lead sheet, how do I look at it, and then of course actually knowing where the notes are and what the names of the notes and all of that is.
Now, one last thing too, and a lot of last things right before we get started, but the whole idea behind the concert series was actually from you guys, and thank you for that. And if there's any other things that you'd like us to do, let us know. Give us some suggestions. One of the things that I thought would be kind of fun would be to visit all the ukulele stores here on Oahu, and maybe even the inter-islands or neighbor islands once we get a chance. But just get a feel of some of the local shops here, meet the owners, talk about some stories that they have. And again, even going into the factories, mini interviews with that, see how things has changed in the last 50 years, 100 years, on that side of it. But there's so many little things that we know that we can help showcase, and any ideas that you guys have and would like us to do, let us know, and we will give them a good try. And for those of you who missed it, this is just going to take 60 seconds, but if you have not seen Aldrine play,
Oh yeah,
this is just a little clip of what to expect from tomorrow's free concert series.
and don't forget, we'll have.
Needless to say, I'm odds and ends, but I feel stumbling away. Slowly learning that life is okay, we'll say after me. So much better to be safe than sorry, too, on me.
That's awesome. What a fun concert.
Yeah, a huge shout out to all of our supporters
Oh, yeah.
and people who've been helping support the Backyard Concert Series. It is a ton of work, but we thought it was so important, especially to do it right. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for that support. It really, really does help.
And also a huge thank you to the sponsors. We have some giveaways that we always do during the live chat. I am slow to mail, so I'm sorry, folks, but I do promise like the goodies go out. There's Hawaiian Host chocolates, GHS strings, Artist Works. We actually have subscription, that's the word I'm looking for. Artist Works online ukulele school subscriptions that we've been giving away, and Ukulele Magazine goodies that have been given away as well. So we're really, really grateful for all the sponsors' support too, because it takes a village for sure. So thank you all. Yay.
Okay, again, we're going to show everything on screen, but if you would like to support, you can always grab a packet online. But yeah, we can officially get started. Let's do
And
it.
then if for some reason you're in a place where you cannot afford a packet or whatever, please email us. We'll send you a packet for free. We try to have that option because we know not everybody is able
Yes,
to do
and
that.
people have been paying it forward with
Yes.
the scholar
Scholar
packets
packet.
as well. So thank you guys.
Yes. So, syncopation. So, you'll hear people throw around that word and you might go, I don't really know what that is, but okay. And a lot of times if you listen to something and you can try to mimic it, you might not realize you're actually doing syncopated strumming. But basically, I wrote in here that that's the simplest definition of it is accenting weaker beats as opposed to the really strong ones. The really strong ones, the most strong, of course, is going to be the 1, right? Because that's the very start of your measure. If you're in 4/4 time, or actually in any time frame, your 1 is going to be the most important. We're working in 4/4 time for all of this. And the next sort of strong beat is going to be the 3. So if you are strumming just a regular old C chord, for example, and if I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, those are going to be my super strong beats, right? Versus if I strum all 4, which is the numbers I have down there, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's something that I want us to keep in mind, that this is kind of a potentially beginner thing, but everyone should think about this. Notice that when I'm strumming down like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, that my hand is constantly moving, and I'm actually doing, move my T. I'm actually doing a wrist rotation as opposed to doing with my elbow, right? As opposed to Craig calls this the Elvis strum. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm always moving like this. Like my hand, Craig will say when he teaches about strumming, it's like a metronome. My hand is constantly moving, okay? So I don't do 1, 2, and like reset like that. It's just like that. And then I'm just not hitting on the ups yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty easy. And then my strong beats of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Notice how my hand's still moving. Try it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the first example of actually being a bit more syncopated is going to be what I call example number 1. And this one, it gets used in a bunch of different genres, actually, where you play on the 2 and the 4. The first time that you've probably heard somebody refer to that was probably with jazz or swing, because that's where the emphasis is in those songs. So let's try it together and just doing 2 and 4. But I want you to keep this hand moving, but you're only strumming on the 2 and 4. The reason I want you to keep this hand moving is because if you're waiting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're waiting for it, you might be late or you might be early. So, but if you have this guy continually moving, you'll be okay. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I'll turn to the side so you see 1, 2, 3. See, I messed up because I'm talking. 2, 3. Again, just see 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a different feel than just playing the 1 and the 3. Now, the other thing you can also do to help things be a bit more syncopated is actually muting in between every strum. Now, that's something that we'll get into a little bit more when we get to our first song, actually. I'll wait till then to kind of go over that. But basically, the main idea of it is you're going to stop the string vibrations. So you see Craig, and Craig actually teaches a really great workshop on it. He taught one a couple of years ago. It's a live stream about muting and scratching. I think we should do an updated one in the maybe next month we'll do that, because it's such a great workshop, and it's one of the most useful tools, I think, for ukulele, because you're doing all of the muting with this hand instead of doing a palm mute with this hand, because it has a similar effect, but it's much more versatile when you can do muting with your left hand. But as I said, I'll get into that in a second. Let's play some more examples and just let our strings ring. Example number 2, you can play on the ands, which are your 8th notes. So I could do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So C chord, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Notice it's just the ups, right? And this should feel familiar. Like, don't worry about a thing, right? It feels like that kind, like Three Little Birds, right? Some people will say that this is something that you hear frequently in reggae style music, right? Playing just on the ups. It's also incredibly difficult to sing and play at the same time if you're used to doing songs where you strum on the downbeats, if you strum on the numbers. So it takes a lot of practice in order to be able to sing and play that at the same time. Is everybody okay? I haven't looked at the chat. Actually, excellent. Okay, so that's another example of syncopation. You've probably played that before at your uke club. The next one is one that I kind of feel it's like a islandy vibe. It's very similar to example number 1 if you look above, but you'll notice there's one extra little strum there. Now sometimes, well, I'll talk about picking in a second. Let's just strum it for right now. So what I have here is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, I highly recommend saying this out loud with me, okay? And if you need to, whisper the ones you don't play and shout out the ones that we do play. I also find that to be helpful, doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then try to play. Let's pull a C chord out and let's try it. 1, and I am going to pretend strum the 1 and to help me stay in time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2. If I swing it a little bit, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Feels pretty good. 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You could also take this one and maybe pick a string on the and, or pick a string on the 2, excuse me. So the number 2, 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 You could do something like that too. I'm just showing a strumming for right now, but this kind of stuff you can actually throw in some picking if you desire. So, how's everybody doing? Good? Okay, I'm trying to get through this so I can get to the songs. Next up, we have one that when you look at it, you might think, oh, that looks kind of complicated. We get to play the first beat. Yay, that's kind of nice. And then you've got some extra stuff there. You have a 2 and an and 4. So let's look at it without even strumming a chord. And you've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Not too bad. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. it may feel familiar to you because this is what I call like the uke club strum. This one is the one that's a lot of people's go-to. Let's try it with a C chord. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sometimes uke club folks will add an extra up on the 4 and it would sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. I messed up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now the beautiful thing about this idea of keeping your hand moving constantly is that if you do mess up, you're still in time, right? So if I was to say, I'm going to play example number 1, and I am going to mess up every now and then, and you're going to hear that the pulse stays the same, even if I do accidentally strum where I shouldn't. So that's 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Right? So you could hear I was strumming other stuff too, besides just the 2 and the 4, but the pulse was fine because I kept my hand moving the whole time. I feel like a lot of times, especially when we start playing, we get caught up in playing the down, down, up, down, up. Like we don't think about where within the beat things lie or where within the measure things lie, because you're so concerned about whether you should be going up or down that you're not thinking about the overall shape of your rhythmic pattern. And of course, that idea of thinking about a rhythmic pattern is even kind of more advanced than like beginning ukulele, here's how you play C. But it's important to think about because it allows you to make up strumming patterns. So I love writing out patterns like this and highlighting or circling, because then I can write down ideas I have as far as strumming patterns go. And a lot of times my ideas will just be 8th notes. Sometimes I might have a 16th note idea in there. And we'll get to that hopefully if we have time today. But I just really think it's important to understand and know where things are. And if you think of your numbers being the downs and the ands being ups, it's really easy to be able to notate things and make it so you can remember them for later. So let's look at our first song. Super easy song I figured we'd start with. This isn't the key you normally see it in, but I figured why not? I think a lot of times it's either in D or A, if I remember right. So, people are talking about snow in the chat. Whoo. Yeah. I don't know, like, I've gotten acclimated to here. I don't know if I'd survive. I might die if I go somewhere with snow. How funny. Okay, here we go. And so this one, our strumming pattern, we're strumming on the ups. Now, if you have trouble singing and doing this at the same time, just play. Don't sing it. The reason I say that is the idea is being able to get the strumming pattern down. So work on the pattern first. The words can come later, okay? And I will probably mess up at some point, just because I'm a human being. Just let's have fun and let's just play. I got Craig on bass. I think we'll have a good time. I'm just gonna start with a G chord. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. You guys ready? Don't worry about a thing. I'm just staying on G, then C. Every little thing is gonna be OG. Don't worry about a thing. Da-da-dee-da-see, 'cause every little thing is gonna be OG. First, rise up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody's pure and true, Singing strum once. This is my message back to 1 and 2 and 3 and chorus. Don't worry, but indeed about a thing. You could go to G7 if you want. C, every little thing is gonna be all G. Singing don't worry, ba-da-beat about a thing. Da-da-dee, da-dee, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry, let's do it again. Singing don't worry, ba-da-dee, about a thing. G7 if you want, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing don't worry, ba-da-dee, about a thing. Da-da-dee, strum once, 'cause every little thing's gonna be alright. Nice, great job. We did it together and we didn't even rehearse. Nice work, everybody. So you'll notice that I threw in a G7. That's something that you can totally do with this tune, where you've got don't worry about a thing. And I moved to G7, which happens after the word thing. But basically, you've got G for a chunk of time. So don't worry, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So it's in the second half of the next measure. So if you want, oh, there's my pin. You can throw in G7. You don't have to. I tried to keep it as simple as possible so there were less changes to worry about, right? And actually, I realized I didn't technically tune my instrument before we started. Craig and I were having so much fun just playing and enjoying hanging out that we totally forgot to tune. So, Three Little Birds. It's a lot of fun. It's a very easy song. But we're going to continue in sort of this reggae world. And we're going to go and do a song that I love singing with Cameron, but I actually changed the words to it because it's his pajama song. There we go. So I'll flip up. We're going to go into Jammin'. This song is a lot of fun. And there's a couple different variations we'll talk about. And actually, Craig, this is the one that I think we might want to talk a little bit about scratching on. So for this one, I actually, just to make sure that I wasn't speaking out of turn, I actually went and watched live versions of him playing, and him actually playing, Bob Marley actually playing guitar. And I noticed in those live recordings that he tends to only play the 2 and 4 for most of the song. And so that's how I want us to play a little bit to start. Then I want to show you pattern 1, because the thing to remember is he's playing with like a full band and backup singers. So only playing 2 and 4 allows other people to do stuff around him. Whereas if you're just playing by yourself, you might want to add in stuff to help create more texture, the way that the band is creating texture around him. So for right now, I just want us to go over the progression, playing just the 2 and 4. And the chords we have here are B minor 7. Well, sorry, I should just stick my arm out. B minor 7, where I'm just barring that 2nd fret, and the E7. Notice when I go from, I'll do this. Notice when I go from B minor 7 to E7, my index slides down like that. So again, B minor 7, and then I slide my index down, and then I'm adding 2 strings to the party, okay? Then I go to G, I end up swapping fingers around. I want to jam it with you. Now going from G, you'll notice that this finger in my ring slides down, and then I add 2 fingers. So going from G to F sharp minor. It looks like a G7, doesn't it? But on the wrong string. So I'm like G to what looks like G7 on the wrong strings. Back to, and I switch back to my index, though you could do your middle, and then E7, like that. And I hope you like jamming too. And this is the actual key that the song is in. So if you want to play with the recording, we actually have the right key. So 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B minor, E7. Oh, sorry, I let them ring. And G, and 3 and 4, and F sharp. Back to B minor, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3. And it's nice having a bass player. G and 3 and 4. All right, we're jamming. E7, G. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming. Look at me using my middle. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too. Ain't no rules, ain't no vow. We can do it anyhow. I and I will see you through. 'Cause every day we pay the price. Got to live and sacrifice. Jamming till the jam is through. And then we'll stop here, because it's the same all the way throughout, right? And that's fine, especially if you have a bass player. You heard how Craig is filling in the space, but when it was just me by myself, it was kind of lonely sounding, just playing on the 2 and 4 only. Now, pattern number 1 is that one that I called that like islandy feel. This is when I think of like Hawaiian music, it's kind of reminds me of this kind of pattern, where you have 1, 2, and 4. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So we'll try that with this one. Let's try just playing it together. We have 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. E7, 2, and 3, and 4. And G, and 2, and 3, and 4. And F sharp, 2, and 3, and 4. B minor, E7, G. I wanna jam it with F sharp minor. Jamming. And there's a lot of like open chords. And da G, da messed up. That's okay. Okay, we'll stop there for a second. Now, those notes are ringing, and it doesn't really have that feel that I'm looking for. Like, it sounds good, but one thing that you can do with this one is actually muting. So you stop the strings from vibrating. With the B minor 7, Craig, I'm not going to do Craig's spiel of the like, watch this magic trick, but you'll notice that I can make that chord short. How am I doing that? Well, I don't need these other fingers. I tend to put them down out of habit, but one finger. So what I'm doing is I'm releasing the pressure in this finger, so it's no longer pulling against the strings, so that if I was to strum with no pressure, I get that scratchy sound. So that's stopping the string vibration. I have all the strings covered with the finger. So let's try that together. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and you can put all the fingers down after, or you can just do that, and 2, and 3. E7. Well, I have 3 fingers that are covering, but if I do and just release pressure, you hear that E string still going. What I tend to do with E7 is this finger kind of lays down a little bit. Notice how they relax. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So for me, 3, and 4, and 1. So you can see how the fingers just relax. And 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and. Okay? G chord, I think we'll keep it on the close-up. That's perfect. Thanks, Craig. So for this, you've got an open G string happening here. Now, depending on what it is that's coming next, the initial way, which can be difficult for some folks, we have some folks who have a little bit of trouble here, but I need to make that G string stop vibrating. So what I'm doing is I'm just having my pinky come down, and as long as I get that G string touched, it doesn't matter what's happening here, because I'm releasing the pressure in these fingers. So I'm doing 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. You can see how close my pinky is. Notice that I'm not doing this. Look at how my wrist. Of course I can't reach. I've made my hand really far away. But you'll notice if I do this with my pinky, look at how close the ball of my pinky is to the neck. I got like one finger space right here. Okay. And that means that my pinky can, look how far my pinky can reach. And I don't have the longest fingers. So like I can go all the way over here if I wanted. I don't want to. I don't need to. I just need like the tip of my finger to touch that G string. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So that's how I would mute that G. And then F sharp minor, the A string is what needs to be muted. I could actually just relax my fingers, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, like that. Or I can use my pinky again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and again, my pinky doesn't need to go all the way across because it's only needing to really just mute this string because these fingers are relaxing. So just make sure that this finger is touching the A. Doesn't matter. I happen to go all the way across out of habit, but you don't need to worry about making sure you go all the way across. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now you can palm mute, but the problem with palm muting is that I can't do the extra fancy stuff that I'm going to show you in pattern 1 variation, which involves, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4, where I'm adding in this extra texture. But that's going to come a little later because I know Craig has something he'd like to share.
Okay, so let me do that. So a couple things first. Holly's question about, do you always tune up to pitch? Yes. You want to go from under and tune
Yes.
up to pitch. When you tune down, sometimes it doesn't get rid of all that little bit of slack and tension, and it'll slide even more. So if you're close and you feel like it's a little bit over, go back under and then tune back
You
up.
guys must have heard me doing that because I was doing that as I was tuning.
Yeah,
where I
that's
would,
why it came up. Yeah.
How funny.
Yeah, and the
Good
palm,
ears.
the palm mute works really well. But again, when we want to add some of these cool other techniques,
Ooh.
yeah. So it's that kind of scratching that we kind of mentioned in the earlier part about the different workshops that we do. But
Yeah.
and even that, I love. So the next version of that workshop will include a lot of half mute kind of tones, and that's where we get some cool things where we want some of this, a little bit of tone, a little bit of texture, so we can do stuff like so you have a little bit of that mixed in, and again, so it's a completely different utilization of a mute compared to that palm mute. But there's so many more options being able to mute with that left hand. And for that G chord, even though you really have to worry about only the G string, I do tend to just put my pinky over. And so again, and what's great about that, so two things too. Sorry.
Go for it.
I like teaching, so I get caught up in it. But another reason for the muting on the left hand, not only does it give you a nice kind of space in your playing, but for your transitions, I can start moving to a different chord earlier because of that mute down. So even moving up the neck, again, it allows me the freedom to have a nice silent, transition. So there's a lot of little benefits of being proficient with that left hand mute.
Nice. Thanks, Craig. Actually, I made sure to, I think I even wrote in the text somewhere, Craig's going to demonstrate some things. And you did. Thank you. So somebody said, well, I don't see the difference between pattern 1 and pattern 1 variation. That's because I hadn't talked much about it. So pattern 1 is us muting after the 2 and after the 4. You don't have to worry about muting in between the 2 and the and just yet. You can, but you do not have to. So it would sound like this. Let's just hold B minor for now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and now I'm going to let them ring. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Mute. You can hear the difference, right? I feel like it's a much tighter rhythmic pattern when you mute after them. Then pattern 1 variation is if we have our mute on, and as Craig said, if you strum, you get this scratchy sound. This means you're holding the chord too hard. You're holding the mute too hard. The variation of this is actually strumming down, doing 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 If you don't have a bass player or somebody else playing with you, I actually tend to do something like pattern 1 variation because it gives me a little bit more texture, but it's not constant chords. And also timing-wise, because I'm playing all the rest of the beats except for the end of 4, like I stay in time better if I do that as well. But it does involve an extra technique. So just food for thought. Pick which one you would like to do. You could play just the 2 and the 4s. You can play pattern number 1. You can play pattern 1 with the variation and try to do those scratches if you want. And you might hear me do a mix where I don't play the same thing the whole song, okay? Let's just go through and let's try to be syncopated in our stuff. And I'm also going to try to direct traffic too. What's going to happen is we're going to play that first line of lyrics. Hopefully I can read them and not sing the wrong words. And then we're going to go to that box. The reason I have that box over there is it's a sort of like a bridge for the song. And so the progression actually changes a little bit. And we go in between B minor and E7. Then you'll see the part about Mount Zion, that you strum the B minor once. That's why I have a slash there. I'll also direct you and tell you. And then we come down to the next page, and you'll see that we go in between B minor and E7. And then I have B minor and E7 and nothing written after that. That's because we're back to our regular pattern. And I'll tell you that again when we get there. And we may just try to do a radio fade for the ending for this one. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Is that a good speed? 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3. Yeah, Craig. B minor and B minor and E7, G, and then F sharp. We're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. Sorry, we're jamming. I knew I'd mess up. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too. Ain't no rules, ain't no vows. We can do it anyhow. I and I will see you through. 'Cause every day we pay the price, not to live and sacrifice. Jamming till the jam is through. Ooh yeah, we're jamming. To think that jamming was a thing of the past. We're jamming, and I hope this time it's gonna last. No bullet can stop us now. We neither beg nor we won't bow. Neither can be bought or sold. We all defend the right. The children must unite. Your life is worth more than gold. We're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming, we're jamming in the name of the Lord. We're jamming, and we're drumming right straight from you. Here we go with the B minor, same pattern though. Holy Mount Zion, holy Mount Zion. One time. Just sitteth in Mount Zion, and again, he rules is all creation, yeah, we're jamming E7. Watcha wah wah wah, B minor, jamming E7. Watcha wah, back to the pattern G. I wanna jam it with F sharp. We're jamming, we're jamming. I hope you're jamming too. There you go. Jams about my pride and the truth I cannot hide to keep you satisfied. True love like thou exists is a love I can't resist, so jam by my side. We're jamming, yeah, E7. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too. I hope you like jamming. I hope you like jamming too. I wanna jam it with you. Hope you like jamming. Hope you like jamming. I wanna jam it with you. B minor, E7, and G. Actually, we'll do it one more time with B minor, E7, and slow down the G, and then end on B minor. We're jamming. There you go. Because at the very end, it's a lot of ad-lib. And I wasn't going to go through, I am not Bob Marley. Obviously, I am not going to go through and do all of the ad-libbing that he does. But you get the idea, and you feel that, especially with the bass too. It's super helpful having that. But you can feel the difference. You notice that I used a bunch of different things. And actually, on occasion, I did palm mute a couple of times, just out of habit and just because it's fun to do. So, but the main thing is keeping that pulse and keeping that rhythm going. Okay? How fun. Oh, Mike, what do you do if your pinky finger is possessed and has a mind of its own? I recommend doing exercises and make this kind of a warm-up exercise. If there's a particular chord where your pinky really doesn't listen, a lot of people it's that G chord. What I'd recommend is you start off your practice just holding your G and just going back and forth, trying to make your pinky jump up and down on the strings. Not trying to like scratch or anything, just do reps. Because that repetition will also help the muscle memory.
Now, I do want to reiterate that a lot of this stuff isn't super easy. It took us months and months and months of working on it. When I first started doing and figuring out that whole muting thing, this was back in like 99 in college. And I started practicing so much using that. And again, this isn't a common muscle that we use. So I would be in class and my pinky would be twitching. And I had to promise my neighbors that I wasn't doing drugs. It was just, practicing ukulele. I was like, no, I'm just working on a new ukulele technique. But this whole thing would be twitching throughout that first week just because it was a brand new muscle. And so again, don't worry about trying to nail this down right away. But part of it is that constant practice. And what I used to do, for practice was just pick, easy chords that I knew and loved and just see, just practice that mute. And again, what I wish I told myself earlier too was, again, do less, squeeze less. When the mute is down, everything is jelly. I'm not squeezing with these guys anymore. So part of it is just this nice, relaxed, with the mute, a solid mute. I always refer to as, just letting your hands naturally just rest rather than thinking, it has to come down, but just resting on the strings.
The other thing I also want to add too is when you see someone like Calais doing octaves, you might notice that he might have other fingers on the strings and stuff. The reason I'm bringing this up is I can't do it very well. I'm only playing 2 strings. These 2 fingers are muting. These 2 are the ones that I'm trying to get to sound, and that's my octave. And then I have 2 fingers down, showing you another reason why learning to mute with these fingers is going to be important if you're wanting to do Wes Montgomery kind of sounds. that's how they achieve that, because there's that little bit of texture behind them, and that's muted strings as they strum. A lot of times, Wes Montgomery always strummed with his thumb. And so he's doing full strums on the guitar even, and he's doing octaves. So that's something to think about too. It's actually kind of a super difficult technique. I tend to just pick my octaves, which is kind of cheating, but it gets the job done. So another reason muting is a good idea to learn with this hand. Okay. And let's see here. Is it safe to say there are 2 measures per line? Not necessarily. The main thing is it's just that it's that progression the whole entire time. And that's how I try to just memorize a song, as opposed to looking at the paragraphs and saying, okay, the 4 measures happen twice, right? I just am going off of just, I need to make sure it's 4 beats of each of these chords over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, until I get to that weird bridge section. So thank you, Vince, for asking that. That's a great question. All right, let's look at a jazz standard. I simplified it a little bit, just so that I didn't want people to see like Fly Me to the Moon and freak out and go, I can't play jazz. So we're gonna do a little bit of swing. And with this, you'll notice that I've got the 2 and the 4 as the main emphasis, because we're really wanting to hone in on 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 4. But one thing that you can do is you can actually play the 1 and 3, but you need to play them quietly. Or you could pluck a string during that time frame too. So what I mean is, and I want you to try, is when I go and hold a D minor, because that'll be our starting chord, when you go to strum the first time for the 1, I want you to only really hit the G and C. And if you only hit the G, that's fine. But I just want this, and I want it to be really light. So practice that. I'm only hitting 2 strings. Now do a full strum. So try doing little, big, little, big, little, big, little, big. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It almost sounds like boom, chuck, boom, chuck. If I try to add a little bit of swing to it, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like it feels a little bit better, but the thing that's going to make it feel best, muting in between every strum. If I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I do that, though I had a couple of nasty mute sounds, it's going to feel much better. I'm holding D minor 7. If you'd like to hold D minor 7, you may. That looks like this. So a lot of times when I play standards, I like playing closed chords, meaning that I have all of the strings covered. It's easier to mute with the left hand that way. And also, I like some of the voicings better. But just to keep things easy, I left us with open chords. But if I want to play D minor 7, and I'll write the 7 here so that you know it's, well, that was an ugly looking 7. That's a little better. So D minor 7 is if I did this. And I'm turning to the side so you can see my hand, and notice how it's really just this. The other thing too is I don't even have to strum a chord. I could do a scratch and do it that way too, but I'm just kind of giving the hint of the 1 and the 3. That's really what I'm doing. And the emphasis is going to be on 2 and 4. Let's give it a try. Now, if you don't want to mute in between all of them, you don't have to. If you want to just mute in between the 2 and the 4, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do that too. so that I'm not muting every single time. And with this one, let me just look at the chords so far. I think the hardest chords you're going to have is that D7 flat 9, which is on the second line, fourth measure, going from D minor to D7 flat 9. That's not terrible. So let's try that together. We have D minor 7, and then my pinky comes down. And if D minor. Now if I play D minor 7, where I actually have my pinky there, I can actually just surround that pinky with other fingers. So again, if I hold D minor 7 instead of the D minor that's written, and actually have my pinky here, whoop, it's actually kind of easier. So I'll write that here as a reminder for those that might want to do that. And then G minor 7 isn't bad. C7 is pretty easy. I'm going to flip to the next page because we have a couple of chords that might potentially be troublesome. You'll notice on the third line down, in other words, I have a G minor 7, and then there's an A flat diminished, which is that shape. It's not too bad. I could play G minor 7 like this if I wanted to, where I'm actually covering 2 strings with my middle, and then I pick it up. But I tend to just do this and then move my fingers around. A minor 7 flat 5, you can use all 4 fingers like how it's written. I tend to play it as a double bar, where my index is going over here to the G string, and I'm doing this. But you are allowed to do this going from here, or A flat diminished to here, and then D7 flat 9. Yes, Craig?
Switch.
Okay.
Okay, so really quick too, we had a couple questions on the last live stream about those diminished chords, or the 7 flat 9 chords. Again, if you can play a G chord, all right, just shift 1 string over and add the pinky. So if your G chord is here, shift, add the pinky. So even that A flat diminished 7 down here, again, the G shape on the first and second frets, switch it over, add the pinky. So again, you should be able to, if you can go up and down practicing this way with that shape, and then shift and practice this way, but then adding your pinky to that mix. Again, I love these little back and forth things that you can do to torture your significant other. I mean, to practice while watching TV. But again, this is the kind of muscle memory that is going to be so helpful moving forward.
Yeah.
And one other tip with the muting. Let's say we're doing that A minor 7 flat 5. I want you to think that when everything is resting on the string, that's your home bass. And when you want it to ring, that's when you press. But then you release right back to home bass. 2, 3, 4, squeeze. 2, 3, 4, squeeze. 2, 3, 4, squeeze. So in that case, let's say we're doing something like an F chord. So again, with the mute down, right now there's 0 tension in my hand. So this is home bass. When I want to have it ring, I let go and squeeze, but then I come right back to home bass. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, squeeze. 2, 3, 4, squeeze. But that's going to be the easiest way of really getting back to that feeling of nothing is being held down with the mute down. Because again, it gets hard when you're thinking, oh, it has to come down. And then the part that's been holding it down has to let go now. So, again, once the mute is down, everything is relaxed. So this is nice and home bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig. Always very insightful. So, one person I saw in the chat says G minor 7 and B flat 6 look the same. I hate that. Hate it, but also learn to love it because it's less you need to memorize. But also, yes. So you'll notice with ukulele, we only have 4 strings. And so we have a very limited amount of ways that we can voice certain things. And so when you get into more of these jazzy chords, you're going to find lots of lookalikes. And you'll notice as you learn more theory and as you grow as a musician, you'll also start to realize that the reason why the chords look the same is that they are related in some kind of way. In this particular one, it just so happens that G minor is the relative minor of B flat. So they share the exact same scale notes, but this, right? So they both have a B flat and an E flat in them for their scale, but a B flat major scale starts on a B flat note and a G minor scale starts on a G note, but they both have the exact same scale notes. So when you're forming and creating chords, it just so happens that those particular two look the same. So good, nice job seeing that. I chose B flat 6 instead of a standard B flat because it's an easier chord for many people to play. So there's that. And then one other person said, what app are you using to display and annotate your material? I am currently using something called Notability. I actually no longer make my PDFs in Notability, however. I actually do them in another program, but for showing you and for being able to write on screen while we're live, this is in Notability. So I take my PDF, put it in Notability. Nice questions. All right, let's play Fly Me to the Moon. All right, don't forget, just the main thing is emphasize 2 and 4. You kind of do whatever else you want to do, but I want to hear emphasis on 2 and 4. You can play D minor 7 anytime there is a D minor chord, if that's easier for you. And let's just do it. And we're going to play the song twice. So good luck to me for scrolling back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. F7. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand, D minor. In other words, darling, kiss me, E minor, A7 and D minor, my heart with song, and let it sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. And then we're going to do E minor, A7, and fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me, E minor, 7 flat 5 to the A7, and fill my heart with song and let it sing forevermore. F7, you are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, C7, the bottom line, I love you. 1 strum of D flat 7, E flat 9, and then F. Yeah! I didn't warn you coda was coming, but it came and we made it. So that one, just really easy swing pattern. You can make it much harder if you would like, but super, super easy pattern there. And at the very end of this, let's just do this last page like it's the end of our song to give us a chance to do the ending one more time because it's fun. And writ, you'll see that there's that, it looks like a target sign. That's a coda. And so all that means is after we've repeated it, we go down to where that symbol is replaces, the bottom line replaces where that symbol is. And I have writ, that means retardando, slow down. All right, fill my heart with song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill my heart with song and let it sing forever. Oh, so the stars, sorry. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. D flat, E flat 9, and then you're yeah, how pretty. I love it. So nice fun ending there for you guys going to a flat 6. So and that's actually something we talk about in we have a jazzy intros and outros live stream where I actually talk about a couple of different popular jazz endings, and this is one of them. Can't Help Falling in Love. This song I picked out because you have a couple of different feels that you've heard, because this song has been covered by so many people. Now, the typical way people play it is that first one. So I'm just going to play one verse with doing it that way, and then we'll talk about doing it two different ways, okay? So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Wise men say only fools rush in. So happy sounding. For I can't help falling in love. And that's it. With you, right? Like that's how when you're at your club, that's how a lot of the times the song is played. I feel like it doesn't always capture the essence of the song, but another version of this song that got super, super popular, at least when I was growing up, has more of an islandy vibe. Was it UB40? Is that who did it? Yeah, and it had that definite island vibe. So what we're going to do is we're going to play it a little bit like that. And you should recognize this pattern because this is what we used for jamming, okay? And let's give it a shot. And what I'd like us to do is, let's see, I think we can play through the whole song with this pattern. And then the last one, I won't play through the entire song. So let's give this a shot. So this is one of those things where when you change the syncopation or when you change your strumming pattern, you can make the song have a different feel. And this is actually something we'll do more workshops on later. We actually have another live stream in the past where I went through and we changed up, I think it was a song yesterday, and we made it a couple of different feels so that you could, make it a jazz waltz or you could make it bossa nova, etc. So, and it's all about the kind of pattern, the strumming and the rhythm that you use that's going to give it the feeling. So let's make this song feel islandy and take us back to, the 90s? So here we go. Now this one, for me, I actually like picking instead of strumming. So I like doing let me do it slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Notice what I'm doing is I'm actually muting with these fingers when I do that, as opposed to doing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Both are totally fine, but they have a different sound. And for me, for some reason, for this particular song, I prefer doing the picking. So let's give it a shot and see how you do trying to do this standard in probably a very different way than you've had to do. 1. Do you think that speed's good, Craig? 1, 2, 3.
Don't do it too slow.
Okay. That's about where I was at. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and wise men say only fools rush in 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'll strum. Can't help falling in love with you. Again, shall I stay fallen in love with you. Stay on the F, stay on the F, and A minor river flows surely to the C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. C, 2 and 3 and 4, and take my hand, take my whole life too. For I move it up if you want, until fallen in love with you. B flat, for I can't help fallen in love with, and then you. I know you just picked up the bass, Greg. I'm sorry. Do you want to start from the top?
Sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it again, guys.
A little bit faster now.
A little faster? Okay, same pattern. I just love it. And I'll explain the picking in a second. Let's see here. 1. Oh. Wise men. That good? 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Wise men say. Here we go. Only fools rush in. For and I move up the shape to the 3rd fret. Help falling in love with you. C, we're gonna do it again. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? For I can't tell. Sorry, falling in love with. Stay on the F, don't go to the C, stay on the F, here we go. And like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. Da da da, for I can't help falling in love with you. Here we go, B flat. For I can't help falling in love with you. Thank you, Craig, for our very, very impromptu ending. So that guy, let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, the picking. So one person, Rob says, yeah, the picking's a little bit easier. It can be easier at first to be able to kind of do that picking first. And when I am picking, someone had asked about, can you explain what you're doing? So what I am actually doing is I'm picking all 4 strings. I'm going to turn to the side slightly so you can kind of see it. Notice how light my touch is. Don't let your hand bounce from the strings like this. I don't want to see bendy fingers. It's really very, very gentle. So if I was to do this, it's almost like my index is going to come in and touch my thumb. I'm over exaggerating it so you can see. And it's just very gentle. I'm doing basically this with my fingers. And I have a little bit of bend. I don't have a bend happening in the smaller joint. It's really in the larger joint. I'm trying to keep my fingers fairly straight as they very gently, and I'm resting on the strings. Like that. So that's what is going on when you see me doing that. Now, the only thing I wanted to point out to folks is a lot of time, this song is actually in 6/8 time. That's how you'll see it written. And that's when you hear Elvis doing it and you hear that boo-da, boo-da-ba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 behind him. That's what you're hearing. But you can also think of it as in 4/4 time, but with triplets. Triplet, 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 trip. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4. Triplet, 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 triplet. Or you can think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Both of them, like, they both have the same emphasis. So one thing that I tend to do, playing high G in particular, is if I wanted to do that feeling, I would pick to have that piano arpeggiation. And the picking pattern that I put up there was playing my C. Now you can use these 2 fingers for most of it. I tend to use all 4 fingers. It doesn't matter to me. The main thing is playing the strings in the specific order of C, E, G, A, E, C. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you play low G, start on your G string and just do G, C, E, A, G, C, E, A, E, C, G, C, E, A, E, C. It's the main thing is you're trying to play each individual note going up not chromatically, but it sounds funny to me starting on the high G. Doing what wise men say, right? Like that for me feels weird versus doing. So just something to think about is if you're wanting to create that. The other thing I would also do is probably change up my voicings a little bit. And instead of playing F like this, I'd actually end up playing it like this with an open G string because I feel like wise, wise men say only fools rush in, right? So that is how I would achieve that particular 6/8 sound. You could try to do some kind of but again, I'm trying to replicate the piano's arpeggiation. So just food for thought as far as that goes. I'm not going to make us go through and play it that way, but just I wanted to give you that option because I know some people remember, it's 6/8. Dancing in the Moonlight. Yee! This song is actually, I lifted this from our digital program for Aldrine, the Aldrine and Aaron concert, because it's such a fun song. And this is actually the song that inspired me to do this particular class. So this song is very syncopated, especially with how Aldrine and Aaron play it, where you'll notice that we never play the one, ever. And I guess technically that's not true. When we start the song, you'll hear me play on the one, but then I never play on the one ever again. And that can be kind of startling for some folks. When you see it written, you'll probably see it written up above where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And you can play B minor 7 instead of B minor that's written there. That's totally fine, and that's actually what I tend to do because it's easier than playing a B minor, but Aldrine actually uses the full B minor. So this is the key they play it in for the concert. But you'll notice underneath it, when you actually play the chord changes, how they play it, that the A actually changes a half a beat early. The D changes a half a beat early. The A and the B minor, everything's a half a beat early. Which is kind of crazy. So I want us to try it. Just plain Jane strumming. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I'm stopping right there. One thing that you will notice that I'm doing is that when I have a chord change, I actually play that chord change a little louder. I'm emphasizing it. Okay? Not everything is the same volume. So what I want you to try to do now is we're going to do it again. Play super plain Jane. Play everything quiet, super quiet, as quiet as you can. And then play normally for the chord change, okay? Notice all my chord changes are all on ups. And I tried to color code things so you could tell which beats things took up. So let's try it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. E minor, do do A, do 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 do. 1 and 2 and 3 E minor. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Woo! That is a lot of syncopation because you are like, and we are pushing and pulling the beat, and it's just a lot of fun. And that's without adding in any extra strummy bits. If you look underneath it, this is a strumming pattern I made up. This is what I kind of tend to play most of the time when I play the song. And you'll notice I am not playing on the 1 at all for any of these. And so what I want us to do right now is you can mute your strings, or you can just say, or you can tap, or just say it out loud. But what we're going to do is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's try that again. So I'm playing on the and of 2. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay? The next measure is the same, the A to D, but then that D, A, and B minor area, I'm only playing on the chord changes. So it's going to sound like this. I'm playing measure 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Let's do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then the last measure is the same as measures 1 and 2. Good luck. Only muted. Don't try to play chords yet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 again and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I accidentally threw in an extra strum because that was just a mistake in the third measure, but you get the idea. Now let's try really slowly. Get your E minor ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and from the top, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Whoo! It's hard to count and play it at the same time, and it's actually really hard for me to play it slowly. Okay. With this in mind, let's try to play it. Now, one thing that Craig and I noticed when we were actually working on this song is that if you listen to the Harvest Moon recording of the tune, that the bass player is actually playing some of the changes on the beat, while the keyboardist is playing off the beat. And so it makes this really intense groove. This is part of like what makes the song, it makes you want to dance and gives this like driving force. and just something to kind of listen when you go and listen to that recording. Unfortunately, it's not this key. You'll have to transpose it if you want to. I don't remember what key that particular one is in, but that's the version of the song that I think they're called Harvest Moon or Harvest Kings or something, but that's the version I grew up listening to. There was another cover that happened, I think, in the 90s. But anyway, let's see how if we can do it. And yes, good luck singing and playing this rhythm. Yes, Rob. Just focus on the rhythm. Don't sing. But you'll notice that this is kind of the rhythm that Aaron Nakamura is doing. But he has some scratches in there. You can actually throw in some scratches and stuff too, so that you can do that. I like Kathleen. No singing. I know you don't usually sing, so I hear you. See here. Okay, I'm trying not to go too fast our first time around, but then I think we'll speed it up when we do it again because the song is so fun to play. Da, 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 da. That's not too fast, yeah, Craig? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And do 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 do. We get it almost every night when that big moon gets big and bright. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Do 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 do. Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep it loose, they keep it light. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody is dancing in the moonlight. How's everybody feel? I want to speed it up. It's too hard to do that slow. Let's try it. You guys can do it. Let me do the singing. Y'all do the playing. And also, as long as you, even if you're just strumming plain Jane, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And as long as you emphasize those chord changes, it doesn't matter what strumming pattern you play. I just gave you one that I usually do, but you can totally just play the whole time. But emphasize and play on the offbeat. 1, 2. Let's see. Do 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 do. So it's easier this way. We get it almost every night. That old moon gets big and bright. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. Everybody here is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. They keep things loose, they keep things light. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight, dancing, dancing in the moonlight. Body's feeling warm and bright. It's a super fine and natural sight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight. We like our fun and we never fight. Get tight and tight. It's a supernatural delight. Everybody was dancing in the moonlight, dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's a super fine and natural sight. Body is dancing in the moonlight. Body is out of sight. They don't bark and they don't bite. It's a super D, 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 D. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 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 and 2 and 3 and 4. Everybody dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's dancing in the moon and dancing in the moonlight. Everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's a super fine and natural sight. Everybody is dancing in the moonlight. Do 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 do. Ba da bee ba da 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 da. Well, last time. Ba da ba da. Sorry, got off. And we'll just end there. So I got off a little bit. I'm very sorry about that, guys. So my apologies. So one person said going over that third measure. We can do over that third measure real quick. But you can hear how this song, it's really easy to speed it up as well. And I'm not seeing you play the B minor. I'm playing B minor 7. And I'm not playing a full B minor. I'm playing B minor 7. You can play the full B minor if you'd like. And I have the B minor there because when you watch All Dream play, he actually plays the full B minor. So I ended up with the calypso strum again. Oh, funny. It's easy to do, but when you listen to the song, they do those changes a half a beat early. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. We'll do it E minor and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's going through it one more time. Remember, you do have, this is going to be recorded and you will be able to go back and watch it again so that you can get there. King Harvest, thank you for letting me know who the real name of the folks are. King Harvest. I knew it was like, I was thinking Harvest Moon, which is why I was, but yes, King Harvest. It's definitely a workout, this song, but it's a ton of fun. And it's that same progression and that same feel the entire time. And this version, if you practice it a little bit today, you can actually play along with Aldrine and Aaron. Now, technically, we have 2 more tunes that I have in the packet. The reason I put those songs in the packet is just to ensure that we had a lot of material, but our time is coming to an end. We have our Artist Works check-in that's going to be at 10:30. So we just want to make sure that we can get to that in time. So I do have the song. I don't know if you guys know this Jackson 5 song or not. It got popular again because of an Amazon ad, but it's Can You Feel It? And this is one where they change early on the beats. And so just as a real quick, you have G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So that particular one, and just to play a real quick thing, I have, if I'm going to start with the second line. If you look around, the whole world's coming together now, baby. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? And I'm playing the basic strumming pattern that I have listed at the top. But this song is one that I've always really loved. And I like also showcasing a movable shape that has an open string as you're going up. And so can you put the packet link back up again, please? The packet link is actually craigandsarah.com/live. So if you go to craigandsarah.com/live, you can get your packet to purchase if you would like. Thank you all so much for all of your support. So that's a very, very brief Can You Feel It? And then the last one, I've got Jump in the Line. And what I may do is maybe we'll review this at another time because this is very fun and a super hard rhythmic pattern to get your brain around. But once you get it, it's a lot of fun. So we'll get to that, I think, at another jam session. I'll save this one, but it's just a blast to play. And we did it in our Halloween jam. So I didn't teach the rhythm that I was playing. I actually taught that part with the beginning, with the picking. So But you can always watch that and kind of watch what I'm doing as well for this one. That's basically what I'm going to be doing with that for this. But I'll make sure that I go over this at another time because this song is a ton of fun. But we are running out of time. But thank you all so much. This has been a really fun jam. And I hope you guys had a lot of fun playing different rhythms and things kind of pushing you out of your comfort zone because I know that we had a lot of fun with it. So thank you.
Thank you guys again. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow for the big concert. Other things, we'll have some special things going over the summer, but we'll need to fine tune a few things
before we can announce. And don't forget Long Beach. We have our Long Beach Ukulele Retreat. If you'd like to join us, it's going to be a really fun, intimate experience with Brian Tolentino, Herboto Jr., and ourselves at July 30th through August 3rd, I believe. So please join us in Long Beach. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we have our Artist Works check-in coming up. The Zoom link should be in the forum. I'm going to also, real quickly, once we're done here, post it in the shout box to make sure that everybody gets to us in time and all of that good stuff.
But thank you guys again for coming out and your support. And again, if you guys have any history with nonprofit work, definitely send us a note if you can. We have some a lot of ideas that we want to push forward with that. I think we can do a lot here. So thank you guys again.
Yes.
I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend so far. And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome, you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Mwah.
Aloha.
All of you. Aloha.